Hey guys, and thanks for checking out my video. What we're going to be talking about today is Airbnb and turning Airbnb into a business. And is it a good idea to turn Airbnb into a business? So first off, for those of you guys that don't know what Airbnb is, it's basically a site that connects renters and landlords. Except the twist is we're not talking about traditional year-long leases or even, several month-long leases. Basically, if you have a place that you want to rent out, you can do it per night like a hotel room. That's what Airbnb is for. You put up a profile of like yourself and your place, the location, what amenities it has, things like that. And if someone's in your city and needs a place to stay, wants to save a little bit of money off a hotel or prefers staying in a private residence over a hotel, they can rent your place from you. And like I said, they're going to save a little bit of money. And some people, don't want to be in a hotel. They'd rather have a private residence where they can have a little bit more privacy, bring guests in, whatever else. So that's basically the overall concept. I've used Airbnb a couple times. I almost used it just recently down in Playa del Carmen, Mexico. But on vacation, I kind of want a little bit more amenities and stuff. I'm not someone who stays all-inclusive, but I kind of like boutique hotels, and I do like that there's a desk person. I do like that they got some services. Tends to be in more central locations, things like that. My sister tried out Airbnb a while ago. She actually used one in Manhattan. I think they still wound up paying almost $300 to rent someone's place for a night. Save some money over a hotel. It was a good location and everything. As far as turning it into a full-scale business, though, I personally have some issues and some problems with it. And even just looking at the numbers, I don't necessarily know that it works out. So first things first, if you were to turn this into a business, are you going to rent or are you going to own the place? A lot of people either don't have the money. Most good Airbnb places are going to be in really popular tourist areas. Manhattan, downtown Chicago, and the Loop, River North are going to be in hot areas. So it's going to be expensive places. So you may not have the money to buy one, or you may not want to put up that kind of money. That's fine, but realize most landlords are not going to be cool with this. Also, if you're doing a business like this, I think you probably want to have some insurance. Who knows what your renters are going to do to the building? Who knows if they injure themselves? And I think you're going to be hard-pressed to find an insurance policy that's going to cover this type of stuff. Probably your typical homeowner's insurance policy isn't, and I doubt a renter's policy would even cover this since you're renting it every night and not renting to a consistent tenant. Also, I think New York has some ordinances against doing this. So in a city like New York, technically, you're kind of in a gray area, if not breaking the law doing this. Also, most buildings aren't going to be cool with this. And I mean, it's kind of understandable. If I own a condo, do I want my neighbor renting their place out and I have a never-ending flow of, God knows who coming through my building, for safety, security, people taking care of the place? It's understandable that a lot of your fellow tenants or neighbors aren't going to like this. So that's another thing to keep in mind. It's one thing if you're renting your place out 1, 2, 3 nights a week. It's an entirely different thing if you're going to be having new people in there every night of the week. Now, in terms of talking actual numbers, let's think about this. So let's say just for simple numbers, let's say I got a place in a high-density kind of cool area that people want to rent. Let's say I could rent it out for $1,000 a month to a traditional tenant. Now, with that, I have the same person. I kind of build a rapport with them. I know a lot of people say being a landlord isn't hands-off, but I mean, short of a pipe leaking or something, it's a pretty hands-off type of arrangement. Once you go to Airbnb renting out on a nightly by nightly basis, every person that comes, you're going to have a way to get them a key. You're going to have to clean the place between tenants. You're probably going to want it stocked with clean towels, toilet paper, maybe some bottles of water, things like that. The more detail you get, if you provide a free breakfast or granola bars or whatever else, kind of like Uber, where a lot of Uber drivers carry around bottles of water, Red Bulls for people to kind of boost their ratings, people on Airbnb are going to do the same type of stuff. But let's just say simple numbers. I could rent my place out for $1,000 a month and basically have a hands-off approach, not really have to worry about it. Hopefully they pay rent on time. Or I could rent it out nightly for $100. Now, it's hard to get occupancy during the week unless you're in like Manhattan or something like that. So most people are going to want to rent a place out on weekends, right? There's basically 2, 4, 6, 8. There's basically 8 weekend days in a month. So even if you have 100% occupancy on the weekends, that's still only that's only $800 when renting traditionally I could get $1,000 for it. Now, are you going to be able to keep a high occupancy all the time? is it worth all the extra work of having to have a cleaning crew come in, having to have either some kind of electronic keypad or someone who turns over keys? Is it worth whatever headaches you potentially have in a building? Is it worth people potentially damaging or stealing property you have in the place? I guess if it's for a business, everything that you're buying for the place is probably cheap or meant for a rental, and I suppose there are like security agreements and things like that. They do have insurance, so I'm not sure how well it covers. And like I said, I'm not sure how your own insurance, property insurance or whatever else, homeowners insurance, is going to cover something like this. So overall, I think Uber is kind of cool as a side hustle, a way to make some money. If you're renting your place out a couple nights a week, more power to you. Do it. Maybe you have a boyfriend or girlfriend, you stay over at their house most of the time. Maybe you travel a lot for work. Rather than this apartment or house or whatever that you're paying a lot of money on in either a mortgage or a lease, instead of letting it sit vacant, you might as well rent it out and make a couple hundred bucks a month, subsidize your mortgage. And I think if you're doing it on a small scale like that, I don't think you're going to have too many problems with your neighbors. Just have people tell them that they're a guest or they're visiting you for a couple days, or that they're your cousin from Oklahoma in town or something like that. If you're doing it every day of the week, I think you're going to run into problems. A, it's a lot of work, and B, eventually you're going to run into problems. People in your building are going to complain. The city might get on you, things like that. So I'm not sold on this being a great side business. Don't get me wrong. Do a Google search for Airbnb business or buy a house for Airbnb. There are some people killing it, making some good money doing it. You really need your place. You need to get a good deal on it when you buy it, and you need it in an area that's popular for either tourism or people traveling for work, conventions, things like that. You could probably do okay, but it doesn't come without problems, and typically being a traditional landlord is going to be a little bit easier. If you've considered being a landlord and have been turned off to it because it's not a passive enough income for you, if traditional landlording is too much for you, I can guarantee you Airbnb isn't for you. So something to think about. If you guys have any questions, comments, anything like that, feel free to leave them in the comments section down below here. I try to respond to all my questions and comments, and I'm more than happy to help you out with any advice or tips or answer any questions that I have. If you like this video, again, just below here, there should be a thumbs up button. Give me a thumbs up on the video. It helps out the channel. And if you're not subscribed to my video, check back for more videos. We're going to be doing a lot of stuff on entrepreneurship, making money, side hustles, all that type of stuff. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Thanks for watching. Check back for more videos, and we'll see you next time.